The DEA tracks this. $8. Pet store. Purple bottle between fish antibiotics and pond cleaner. Most people walk past it every day. They don't know what it does. They don't know why it's on a government watch list. They don't know that this single bottle purifies water, starts fires without matches, disinfects wounds, treats infections, and signals rescue from miles away on snow. 5 functions, $8. Buy more than 2, your purchase gets flagged. The things that actually save lives aren't in the tactical aisle. They're not behind glass. They're not marketed with skull logos and operator font. They're in the spice aisle, the cleaning section, the weird back corner of farm supply stores, and they're disappearing. Not panic buying, manufacturers stopping production. No announcements, just empty shelf space. By the end of this video, you'll know all 10 items, prices, locations, and why your neighbor watching this same video might beat you to the store. Let's talk about the real rule of budget prepping. The uncomfortable truth that gear companies pray you never figure out. The tactical industry wants you broke. They want you scrolling through catalogs at 2 in the morning, adding things to cart, convincing yourself that the $200 knife with the Tonto blade and the G10 handle is somehow different from the $30 knife that does the exact same job. They want you buying $80 flashlights with 17 modes when you'll only ever use 2. They want you loading up on $300 backpacks covered in molly webbing that screams, "I have valuable supplies, please rob me first," to anyone paying attention. Here's what they know that you don't. The profit margin on fear is enormous. And here's what you need to know. The most effective survival items cost less than lunch. They're not sexy. They don't look good in Instagram photos. Your friends won't be impressed when you show them. But they work. They've worked for 50 years. 100 years. Sometimes thousands of years. Long before anyone invented the word tactical as a marketing category. The places you need to memorize, write these down: the spice aisle at Walmart, the pool chemical section at Home Depot, the cleaning aisle in any grocery store, army surplus stores that smell like mothballs and history, and farm supply chains like Tractor Supply, where the employees actually know what things do. Those 5 places. That's where the real gear lives. Item 1. Activated charcoal. $10 to $18 depending on quantity. Amazon has it, CVS has it, Walgreens has it. Any pharmacy that hasn't figured out why someone would want 2 pounds of black powder. Here's a story nobody talks about anymore. Flint, Michigan, 2014. When the water crisis hit, when people turned on their taps and brown sludge came out, pharmacies ran out of activated charcoal in 48 hours. Not water filters, those were gone in 12. Not bottled water. That was gone in 6. Activated charcoal, 2 days. Because the people who actually knew what was coming, the people who'd dealt with contamination before, they understood something that most people don't. Activated charcoal is what emergency rooms use first for poisoning. Not sometimes. Not when other options fail. First. Before pumping stomachs. Before IV fluids. Before anything else. The standard ER protocol for ingestion of toxic substances is activated charcoal within the first hour. 1 gram of activated charcoal absorbs up to 10,000 milligrams of toxins. That's not an exaggeration. That's not marketing. That's chemistry. The surface area of a single gram, if you could unfold all the microscopic pores, is 3,000 square meters. That's more than half a football field in your palm, in powder form. Food poisoning when the grid is down and you can't call 911. Accidental ingestion of something a child shouldn't have touched. Water that passed through your filter, but you're still not sure about. This is your insurance policy. This is what sits in your cabinet and you pray you never need. The powder form is better than capsules. Faster absorption because you can mix it with water. Easier to dose correctly. More treatments per container. Don't buy the fancy Detox branded charcoal they sell in health food stores. Same product, triple the price. Get the bulk powder from Amazon or a pharmacy. Store it somewhere dry. It lasts essentially forever. Item 2. Alum powder. $5 to $8. Walmart spice aisle. Yes, the spice aisle. Between the cinnamon and the garlic powder. Amazon has it too. The same stuff your grandmother used to make pickles crispy. The same stuff that's been used for 2,000 years for things grandmother never told you about. Here's what else it does. Drop a pinch into murky water. Stir it gently. Wait 30 minutes. Watch. The dirt, the sediment, the clay particles, the things floating in that water that make your stomach turn. They clump together. They get heavy. They sink to the bottom.
First, the
water on top
connect.
turns clear.
Only then
This
will
is
the
called
flock be heavy.
flocculation. The chemistry is simple. Alum has a positive charge. Contaminants have a negative charge. They attract, bind, and fall. This isn't filtration. You still need to filter or boil the clear water after. But it takes water you couldn't even process through a filter. Water that would clog any filter in seconds, and turns it into something you can work with. Syrian refugees in 2015. The camps. The water sources that were nothing but mud puddles and contaminated streams. They used this exact technique. They learned it from grandparents who learned it from grandparents. Roman legions used the same method 2,000 years ago. Egyptian dynasties before that. Still works. Still costs $5. The people selling you $200 gravity filter systems don't want you to know alum exists. It doesn't compete with their product. It makes their product work better. Alum isn't a replacement for proper filtration. It's a force multiplier. Pre-treat with alum. Your filter lasts 5 times longer. Your water comes out cleaner. Your stomach stays settled. One box treats hundreds of gallons, maybe thousands if you're careful with dosing. Item 3. Diatomaceous earth. $15 to $25 for a 10-pound bag, and 10 pounds lasts years. Home Depot has it in the garden section. Tractor Supply, Amazon. Get the food-grade version. This is important. Pool-grade diatomaceous earth is chemically treated and toxic. Food-grade is safe to eat. Different products, similar names. So what is this stuff? Fossilized algae. Diatoms. Microscopic creatures that died millions of years ago and left behind silica shells. Grind up a few billion of them, and you get a white powder that feels like flour in your hands. Under a microscope, it's something else entirely. Each particle has edges like broken glass, razor sharp at the microscopic level. You can't feel it, but insects can't ignore it. When a crawling insect walks through diatomaceous earth, those microscopic edges cut through its exoskeleton. The waxy coating that keeps moisture inside the bug gets shredded. The insect dehydrates. It dies. No chemicals. No pesticides. No resistance building up over generations. The physics of sharp edges versus soft bodies. It works on every crawling insect that exists. Ants, roaches, bedbugs, fleas, and most importantly for preppers, weevils. Weevils. Learn that word. Those are the insects that will destroy your food storage from the inside. You open a 5-gallon bucket of rice that you sealed and stored 2 years ago, thinking you were smart, thinking you were prepared, and it's moving. Tiny beetles crawling through what was supposed to be food. That's weevils. And here's the part that makes people sick. They were already in the grain when you bought it. Microscopic eggs laid before packaging. Eggs too small to see, waiting for the right conditions to hatch. Here's the protocol. Every dry good you store for long term gets a light dusting of food-grade diatomaceous earth mixed in. 1 tablespoon per 5 pounds. Rice, beans, flour, oats, pasta. Mix it in, seal the container. The insects die. You eat the food normally when you need it. The DE passes through your digestive system like any other mineral. It's inert, harmless. It's in toothpaste. It's in food products you eat every day. This is also your perimeter defense. A thin line of DE across doorways, windowsills, anywhere insects enter. They won't cross it. They can't. And here's the part nobody else will tell you. Insects aren't your only pest problem. When things get bad, really bad, 2-legged pests become the real threat. The people who know you have food. The neighbors who watched your delivery trucks. The co-worker you told about your little hobby. But that's a different video. We'll get there. Item 4. Wool military blankets. $30 to $60 for a 2-pack. Army surplus stores, the real ones, the ones that smell like canvas and history. eBay from verified military surplus dealers. Amazon, but only if the listing specifically says genuine military surplus, not military style or military inspired. Those words mean reproduction. Reproduction means synthetic blend. Synthetic blend means useless when wet. These blankets are being sold off from military warehouses right now. When they're gone, they're gone. Modern manufacturers don't make real wool military blankets anymore. The equipment doesn't exist. The supply chains don't exist. What you're buying is leftover stock from the Cold War, Vietnam, Korea, sometimes World War II, if you know where to look. Here's why wool matters. Why it's worth tracking down surplus stores and estate sales and government auction websites. Wool insulates when wet. Synthetics don't. Not really. The marketing says water resistant. The marketing says quick dry. The marketing doesn't say what happens when you're actually soaked through and the temperature drops. Cotton kills. That's a survival saying. It exists because cotton loses all insulating properties when damp. Worse, it pulls heat away from your body through conduction. Wet cotton against skin in cold weather is how people die of hypothermia while wearing clothes. Fleece is better. Fleece is fine. Until it gets fully saturated. Then it hangs heavy, stays cold, and you're in trouble. Wool keeps you warm at 70% efficiency, even when soaking wet. 70%. That's the difference between uncomfortable and dead. Korean War. Chosin Reservoir, December 1950. 17,000 American soldiers and Marines trapped by Chinese forces in minus 35-degree temperatures. The frozen Chosin, they called it. The official death toll was over 1,000, but the real number, including frostbite amputations, exposure casualties, men who died of cold in hospitals weeks later, was much higher. The soldiers who survived wrapped themselves in wool. Every piece they could find. The standard issue synthetic fill sleeping bags froze solid. The down jackets turned to useless shells. The wool blankets kept working. Same technology, same blankets. Now sitting in surplus stores for $30, because the US military decided synthetic blends are cheaper and lighter. Those warehouses full of real wool are being liquidated to make room for equipment that performs worse. When a surplus store says limited stock on these, they're not running a marketing scam. There won't be a next shipment. Ever. Item 5. Kerosene K1, $50 to $70 for 10 gallons. Tractor Supply has it. Lowe's usually does. Some gas stations still have the blue pump. Look for the K1 marker, not the regular diesel. K1 is the clean burning grade. This is a critical distinction that people miss. Regular kerosene, K2, heating oil, whatever they call it, produces toxic fumes when burned in enclosed spaces. K1 is refined further. It's what you use indoors with proper ventilation. Still need ventilation, but you won't poison yourself the way you would with the cheaper stuff. February 2021, Texas. Here's what happened that nobody wants to remember. The power grid collapsed. Not flickered, collapsed. 6 days without electricity in temperatures that hit -2 Fahrenheit. Pipes froze, burst. No water, no heat, no way to cook, no way to charge phones to call for help. The people who owned kerosene heaters, the old-timers, the rural folks, the ones their neighbors called paranoid, they gathered in their living rooms with a single heater running and stayed warm, stayed fed, heated water for cooking and washing. The people without kerosene heaters lined up for hotel rooms, slept in their cars with the engine running, crowded into emergency shelters that were already over capacity. Some died in their homes. The official count was 246 deaths. Independent analyses put it over 700. Within 72 hours, kerosene prices jumped 500%. Where you could find it. Most stations ran dry in the first 48 hours. The smart money bought kerosene in October. Here's the math you need to know. 1 gallon of K1 gives you 45 hours of lantern light. That's a standard oil lamp, wick turned low for efficiency. Or roughly 8 hours of heating in a standard kerosene heater at moderate output. 10 gallons is a week of continuous heating or a month of lighting. That's $50 to $70 for a month of not sitting in the dark waiting for rescue. Storage matters. Metal containers only. Kerosene degrades plastic over time. Keep it in a detached garage or shed, never inside your living space. It lasts 3 to 5 years without fuel stabilizers, longer with them. And the smell. Kerosene smell never fully leaves fabric. Dedicated winter gear that stays in storage with the kerosene. Ventilation is non-negotiable when burning. Crack a window. Run a carbon monoxide detector. CO doesn't announce itself with a smell. You don't get a warning. You get sleepy. Then you don't wake up. Let's pause here. Because item 6 isn't just disappearing. It's already gone in most places. Strike Anywhere matches, Ohio blue tip brand. $30 to $50 for a bulk case, if you can find them. Ace Hardware still has some. Amazon fluctuates between out of stock and price gouged. Here's what happened. Diamond Match Company, the last American manufacturer of Strike Anywhere matches, had a factory fire in 2023. Production dropped to near zero. They didn't announce it, didn't issue a press release. Just stopped shipping. The chemistry behind Strike Anywhere matches, phosphorus sesquisulfide tips that ignite on any rough surface, is being regulated out of existence. Safety concerns, shipping restrictions. The same restrictions that already killed the industry in Europe. Once the current stock sells through, this technology is done. You will not be able to buy a match that lights without a striker, in the Western world. What you'll find instead are strike-on-box matches, which are useless when the box gets wet. Or you'll find lighters, which fail in cold weather and run out of fuel. A single match that lights on a rock, a zipper, a fingernail, that's a different category of tool. A waterproof case of Ohio Blue Tips is a 10-year fire solution. Buy them now. This isn't speculation. The shelves are already empty. Item 7. Borax. $5 a box. Walmart, any grocery store cleaning aisle. Amazon. 20 Mule Team Borax, the same brand since 1891. Here's why it's on this list. The European Union banned borax in 2010, classified it as a reproductive toxin. The United Kingdom started raiding Etsy sellers of borax in 2024. The regulatory trajectory is clear. The US is typically 5 to 10 years behind EU chemical bans. The uses for borax in a survival context are absurd. Ant killer, mix with sugar, they carry it back to the colony, colony dies. Mold prevention. Solution in spray bottle, handles bathroom and basement mold. Laundry booster, works in cold water when your detergent doesn't. Fire retardant for fabric. Flux for welding and soldering. Wood preservative against rot and insects. That's 6 functions from a $5 box that's been on shelves for 130 years. The people banning it have never had to survive without a hardware store. Stock up before the regulations cross the Atlantic. Item 8. Canning lids. This one might save your life, or end it. Ball or Kerr brand lids, $45 to $70 for a case of regular and wide mouth combined. Walmart in-store is your best bet. Ace Hardware, Ball's official website. Here's what happened in Houston, 2021. 6 people hospitalized with botulism from home-canned salsa. The investigation found counterfeit canning lids. The sealing compound wasn't food grade. The lids looked identical to Ball. The packaging was convincing. The seals failed. Bacteria grew. Botulism toxin is one of the most potent on Earth. A few micrograms kills an adult. Current estimates, 40% of canning lids sold on Amazon are counterfeits. 40%. Here's how you check. Flip the box over. Made in USA should be stamped directly on the cardboard, not on a sticker. The lid edges should be perfectly smooth, no rough spots. The sealing compound should be consistent color, not patchy. If buying online, only buy directly from ball.com or verified retailers with inventory control. Or find Tatler reusable lids, $70 for a lifetime supply, made in USA, and they're not worth counterfeiting because the profit margin isn't there. This is one item where saving $10 could cost you everything. Item 9. Paraffin lamp oil, $35 per gallon. Amazon, Lamplight brand, is the standard. Lehman's if you want to order from an Amish supplier. 1 gallon gives you roughly 180 hours of light. That's a week of 8-hour nights every night from $35 of lamp oil. Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in September 2017. The power grid didn't fully recover for 11 months. 11 months without reliable electricity. The people who understood lamp oil, the older generation, the rural communities, they had light. The people who relied on batteries and flashlights sat in the dark after week 2. Critical warning: do not substitute citronella oil. It's sold in the same section, similar bottles, lower price. Citronella produces toxic fumes when burned indoors. It's outdoor only for mosquito control. The bottle will say citronella, but you'd be surprised how many people grab the wrong one in a hurry. Paraffin only. Clear liquid, no scent. Label should specifically say lamp oil and indoor use. Now, item 10, the one I started with. The purple bottle in the pet store that the government tracks. Potassium permanganate. Chemical formula KMNO4. $8 to $15 depending on quantity and source. Pet stores sell it as a pond treatment. Look in the koi and pond section. Amazon has multiple listings. Doodah Diesel sells it. Loudwolf for bulk quantities if you don't mind being on another list. Why is this on the DEA list one? Because in high concentrations, combined with other precursor chemicals, it's used to synthesize certain controlled substances. The tracking isn't because they think you're going to purify water. They're watching for the guy buying 50 pounds and some other items on the list. In survival concentrations, the tiny amounts you'd actually use, it's one of the most versatile substances you can legally own. The World Health Organization has it on their list of essential medicines. Has been for decades. The U.S. military SERE program, Survival, Evasion, Resistance, Escape, has taught potassium permanganate techniques since Vietnam. Every Air Force pilot learns this in case they go down over hostile territory. 5 functions, 1 bottle, $8. Water purification. Here's the technique. Add crystals to water one at a time until the color turns light pink. About 1 small crystal per liter. Pink means the concentration is right. You've added enough to kill pathogens, but not enough to hurt you. Deep purple means too much. Dilute with more water. No color means not enough. Add more crystals. This was standard water treatment before municipal chlorination became cheap and universal. It kills bacteria, viruses, and many parasites. Still works exactly the same. Still costs pennies per use. Fire starting. This is the one that impresses people. Mix potassium permanganate powder with glycerin. You can get glycerin at any pharmacy for $3 to $5. It's in the skincare aisle. The reaction is exothermic. No spark needed, no matches, no lighter, no friction. You make a small pile of crystals on a dry surface, add a few drops of glycerin, step back, and wait 30 seconds. The mixture heats itself. It smokes. It ignites. Spontaneous combustion from 2 chemicals you can buy at a pet store and a pharmacy. Practice this before you need it. The reaction takes time to build, and panicking halfway through ruins it. Antiseptic wound wash. Dilute to light pink, same as the water concentration. Use it to clean wounds, prevent infection, promote healing. It's been treating infections since 1857, still standard protocol for wound irrigation in developing countries where antibiotics are scarce. Fungal treatment. Stronger solution. Purple, not pink. Soak affected area for 10 minutes. Treats athlete's foot, ringworm, fungal skin infections. The stuff they sell in pharmacies for $20, this works the same way. Signal marker. On snow, potassium permanganate stains purple and stays visible for miles. Aircraft, search parties, anyone looking from above, that purple stain on white background is a recognized distress signal. The crystals keep indefinitely if stored dry. Never expires, never needs batteries, never breaks. 1 bottle, 5 functions, under $15. And your neighbor doesn't know it exists. But you do now. And so does everyone else watching this video. The question is, who gets to the store first? Here's your full list. Write it down or screenshot this part. Activated charcoal powder, $10 to $18. Amazon, CVS, Walgreens. Alum powder, $5 to $8. Walmart Spice Aisle, Amazon. Diatomaceous earth, food grade, $15 to $25. Home Depot, Tractor Supply. Wool military blankets, surplus, $30 to $60 for 2, Army surplus, eBay. Kerosene K1, $50 to $70 for 10 gallons, Tractor Supply, Lowe's. Ohio blue tip matches, $30 to $50, Ace Hardware, Amazon. Borax, $5, Walmart, any grocery store. Ball canning lids, $45 to $70, Walmart, ball.com. Paraffin lamp oil, $35 per gallon, Amazon, Lehman's. Potassium permanganate, $8 to $15, pet stores, Amazon. Total, $243 to $390. Under $400, and you're better prepared than 99% of people who think they're ready. 3 things to do tomorrow. Not next week, tomorrow. 1. Go to Walmart. Buy alum from the spice aisle, borax from cleaning, and check if they have ball lids in stock. 2. Find your nearest Army surplus store. Call them. Ask if they have wool blankets. Real wool, not blend. Buy 2. 3. Search potassium permanganate on Amazon. Check availability. If it's in stock, buy 2 bottles. If it's not, find a pet store that carries it. These items are disappearing. No announcements, no warnings. Just empty shelf space where they used to be. The companies aren't going to tell you they stopped production. The stores aren't going to announce they can't restock. You'll just show up one day, and it won't be there. Your neighbor is watching this video too. The question is simple. Who gets to the store first? You don't want to hear this. That's exactly why you need to.